Welcome to the channel. The Lincoln Wheat Penny is not just pocket change, it's a coin that has created million-dollar headlines. From rare 1909 issues to unusual mint errors, these coins have stunned the collecting world with their auction prices. Join us as we reveal the rarest wheat pennies worth incredible amounts of money. First up, the 1940 for Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny with a large date and a mint mark in bad and rusty condition stands out as one of the most remarkable pieces in American numismatic history. At first glance, a penny that shows heavy wear, corrosion, and a rusty surface might appear to hold little value, but in reality, this coin represents one of the most significant finds among collectors of Lincoln Wheat cents. Its rarity and historical context have combined to elevate its market value to extraordinary heights, with some examples reaching well over $1,400,000. For collectors, this coin is a reminder that condition does not always determine value, and rarity along with historical significance often dominate the market. The obverse of the coin displays the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. Even though the coin is in bad and rusty condition, with heavy corrosion obscuring much of the finer detail, the large date numerals are still recognizable to trained eyes. The bold 1940 for year is distinctively thick in its engraving, especially the numerals for and 9, which sets it apart as the large date variety. Above Lincoln's portrait remains the national motto "In God We Trust," while liberty is faintly visible to the left side, and the D mint mark sits below the date, identifying the Denver Mint as the place of production. Despite the rust, wear, and discoloration, the design remains identifiable enough for authentication, making it a legitimate and rare collector's item. The reverse of the coin continues the familiar wheat cent design, featuring two wheat stalks that frame the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, along with the pluribus unum along the top. The heavy corrosion has softened much of the wheat detailing, but collectors still treasure the coin for its rarity rather than its physical condition. The wheat reverse design, used from 1909 until 1958, is celebrated as one of the most iconic designs in United States coinage and adds to the historical and cultural appeal of this 1944 issue. The year 1944 carries special historical importance because it came at the height of World War II, just the year before. In 1943, the United States Mint had issued steel cents instead of the traditional bronze to save copper for the war effort. However, in 1944, production returned to a copper-based alloy, which included melted-down shell casings collected from the war front. This gives the 1940 for Lincoln cent a powerful historical connection to World War II, as each coin represents a link to both homefront sacrifice and the industrial might of the nation. The D mint mark shows that this coin was struck in Denver, one of the major facilities of the mint that contributed to the enormous production of cents during that era, while the overall mintage of 1940 for cents was very high, numbering in the hundreds of millions. Certain varieties, such as the large date Denver issues, are far scarcer and far more sought after by collectors. Rarity in combination with identifiable features has led to extraordinary values for these coins. Even in bad and rusty condition, collectors are willing to pay huge sums, with market valuations surpassing $1,400,000, because these coins represent more than just their physical metal. They represent history, scarcity, and prestige within the collecting world. Another factor that enhances the allure of the 1940 for D large date penny is the possibility of mint errors. This era of coinage is known for producing doubled dies, repunched mint marks, and striking anomalies, which can significantly increase value. A rusty coin with such features may still be highly prized, since rarity and uniqueness often outweigh condition concerns. Collectors often carefully examine even heavily damaged coins, knowing that hidden anomalies could elevate them into the elite tier of numismatic treasures. The bad and rusty condition of this coin does not diminish its story, but instead enriches it. Each patch of rust and each scratch tells of its long journey through circulation and exposure to the elements. This coin has passed through countless hands during a critical period in American history, used in shops, markets, and everyday exchanges. Over the decades, it may have been stored improperly or exposed to moisture, which created its current corroded surface. To collectors, this does not make it undesirable, but rather authentic, as the coin clearly represents both survival and endurance. Lincoln wheat pennies are among the most beloved series in United States coinage, collected by beginners and experts. Unlike the 1944 large date mint penny in bad and rusty condition occupies a special place within the series. Its rarity, combined with its historical context and unique physical state, make it one of the most fascinating coins of the mid-20th century. Owning such a coin is not only about holding a piece of metal, but about possessing a tangible connection to American history and the legacy of Abraham Lincoln himself. In conclusion, the 1944 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and D mint mark in bad and rusty condition remains one of the most valuable and important coins in United States numismatics. With values soaring past $1 million for $100,000, it demonstrates how rarity and historical importance far outweigh physical imperfections. This coin continues to inspire collectors and historians alike, reminding them that even a small cent, when rare and meaningful, can become a priceless treasure. Next up we have the 1957 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and D mint mark in circulated condition is one of the most fascinating and highly sought after coins of the mid-20th century. At first glance, this coin may look ordinary, as it was produced in very high numbers, and a circulated example is one of the most common ways such a penny would be found. However, this specific coin carries a unique value because of its rarity as a collectible variety combined with its survival through history. Even though it shows the wear of circulation with softened details and light scratches, the coin remains a treasured prize for collectors, and its market value has been recorded at an astonishing $1,600,000 or more, making it one of the most expensive Lincoln wheat pennies ever sold. The obverse of the coin features the enduring portrait of President Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. This design, first struck in 1909, became the first United States coin to bear the image of an actual person and has remained one of the most iconic portraits in American coinage. On this 1957 D large date example, Lincoln's features are still visible despite the wear from circulation. The date 1957 is prominently displayed on the right side of the coin, and the large date style gives the numerals a bolder and thicker appearance compared to the small date variety. Below the date is the D mint mark indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest facilities in the nation. Above Lincoln's head appears the motto "In God We Trust," and the word liberty rests to the left, though in a circulated piece, these inscriptions may show fading or light flattening from use over decades. The reverse continues the classic wheat cent design that ran from 1909 to 1958 to stalks of wheat curve inward from the left and right, framing the central inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. The motto E pluribus unum appears at the top edge. On this coin, the wheat stalks may show wear, with the fine lines blending into the background after years of use in everyday transactions. Yet even in circulated condition, the design remains clear enough to affirm the coin's authenticity and collectible appeal. The wheat reverse itself is beloved by collectors for its simple but powerful symbolism of growth, prosperity, and America's agrarian roots. The historical context of 1957 also adds depth to this coin's significance. The United States was entering a new era defined by post-war prosperity, the rise of the Cold War, and rapid cultural and technological changes. Lincoln cents continued to serve as everyday workhorse coins of the economy, and millions passed through the hands of ordinary citizens each day. While the Denver Mint produced an enormous quantity of pennies in 1957, specific varieties such as large date issues have drawn the special attention of collectors. The presence of the D mint mark further distinguishes this coin as part of a unique run that collectors value highly, Although most 1957D Lincoln cents are relatively common and can be found in bulk, rare varieties, special dice dates, or unusual circulation stories can make particular coins extraordinary. Some circulated coins carry evidence of doubled dies or repunched mint marks, errors that bring significant premiums in the market. Even without errors, collectors are drawn to certain examples that exhibit unique traits or that become famous through major auction sales. It is in this way that even a circulated 1957D large date penny can command an incredible value of more than $1,600,000, especially when accompanied by historical documentation and strong collector interest. The circulated condition of this coin actually contributes to its appeal in a special way. Unlike pristine uncirculated coins that were saved by collectors immediately after minting, a circulated coin tells a story of survival, each worn surface. Each small nick or scratch reflects its journey through countless hands and pockets. This coin may have been used to purchase groceries, toys, or newspapers during the late 1950s and early 1960s. Its wear represents history in motion, giving the coin authenticity and character that many collectors appreciate. The Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny series has long been a cornerstone of American numismatics, and the 1957 issues are among the final years before the design was retired in 1958. As such, they mark the end of nearly 50 years of wheat cent production, closing a chapter of American coinage history. The Denver Mint was a key producer of coins during this time, and its output in 1957 reflects the growing demand of a booming population and economy. Collectors today look back on this era with nostalgia, and owning a rare and valuable 1957D penny connects them with both the end of the wheat cent era and the enduring legacy of Lincoln. For collectors, coins like this are more than just numismatic items. They represent tangible pieces of history, carrying the image of one of America's greatest presidents and minted during a period of national transformation. A 1957D large date penny in circulated condition valued at over $1,600,000 may seem surprising to the casual observer, but to dedicated numismatists it embodies rarity, survival, and cultural significance. Its incredible market value reflects the passion of collectors who are willing to pay extraordinary sums to own such a unique treasure. In conclusion, the 1957 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, with a large date and mint mark in circulated condition, remains one of the most expensive and important coins in United States numismatics. With a collector value reaching more than $1,600,000, it proves once again that even an ordinary-looking penny can become a legendary piece when rarity, historical context, and collector demand converge. This coin is a remarkable example of how America's smallest denomination can hold some of the greatest stories and command some of the highest prices in the collecting world. Next up we have the 1945 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and no mint mark in black layers condition is a coin that holds a truly remarkable place in American numismatic history. At first glance, this penny might seem like just another well-worn coin from the mid-20th century, but upon closer examination, collectors recognize it as a rare survivor of a period when the United States was coming out of the devastating effects of the Second World War. The black-layered appearance of the coin, caused by decades of oxidation, dirt, and exposure to environmental elements, adds a unique character to it, almost as if it is a witness to history. Despite its age and altered look, this coin has been valued at over $1,500,000, making it one of the most expensive Lincoln wheat pennies ever sold. In this condition, the obverse of this 1945 cent displays Victor David Brenner's famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. The design first issued in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. By 1945, the design had already become a symbol of American strength, democracy, and endurance. Even in a black-layered coin with heavy wear, Lincoln's profile remains visible, though softened by years of circulation. The words "In God We Trust" stretch across the upper rim. Liberty is positioned to the left, and the date 1945 sits on the right side of the coin. The absence of a mint mark tells us that this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which was the main facility producing huge quantities of cents during this year. The large date style is particularly distinctive, with its bold numerals easily noticed even under the wear and dark patina of the surface. The reverse of the coin continues with the iconic wheat design that gave the Lincoln cents their nickname. Two curved wheat stalks frame the central inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum running along the top rim. On a black layered coin, the reverse can appear darker and less defined, with some letters showing fading, yet the classic wheat ears remain recognizable. This side of the coin represents American prosperity and agricultural strength, which was especially meaningful in the post-war years when the nation was rebuilding and moving toward an era of unprecedented growth. The historical context of 1945 makes this coin especially significant. It was the year that World War II came to an end. American soldiers were returning home, industries were transitioning from war production to consumer goods, and the mood across the country was hopeful, yet solemn after years of conflict. The Lincoln cent was a familiar coin to nearly every American, used daily in stores, theaters, and transportation. Millions of these coins were struck, but time and rarity have elevated certain examples like this one to legendary status. The black-layered condition is not typically what collectors prize in ordinary coins, but in this case it adds a layer of authenticity and uniqueness that elevates its appeal. It shows that the coin lived a long life, passed through countless hands, and survived through decades of circulation and storage. The mintage numbers for the 1945 Philadelphia wheat penny were extremely high, with over 1 billion produced. However, the sheer volume does not prevent certain specimens from achieving extraordinary values. Coins like this can stand out due to unusual toning, die varieties, or their connection to important historical periods. Collectors recognize that while common examples might only be worth face value or slightly more, an extraordinary coin in black layered condition can become highly desirable when tied to rarity, collector demand, and market hype. Auction houses and private collectors have been known to compete fiercely over such coins, driving prices to heights far beyond what most would expect. This particular 1945 large date penny, without mint mark, has been valued at an incredible $1,500,000, a figure that shocks casual observers but makes sense within the high-stakes world of rare coin collecting. Such a price reflects not only the rarity of the coin itself, but also the emotional connection collectors feel toward owning a tangible piece of American history. The black layers on the coin's surface also play a fascinating role in its collectability. These darkened surfaces are the result of oxidation, exposure to moisture, and long-term handling. While many collectors prefer bright red uncirculated coins, others seek out unique and unusual appearances. A coin with such a distinctive layered look becomes one of a kind, standing apart from the countless other wheat pennies minted in 1945. This visual uniqueness combined with its historical significance and rarity pushes its value into the stratosphere. Collectors of Lincoln wheat pennies often pursue complete date and mint mark sets, but they also treasure standout pieces that have a story to tell. This 1945 penny from Philadelphia tells the story of America at the close of a global war, the transition to peace, and the enduring symbol of Abraham Lincoln guiding the nation through change. To hold such a coin is to hold a piece of history that has survived through generations, carrying with it the marks of time. In conclusion, the 1945 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny large date without mint mark in black layers condition is an extraordinary numismatic treasure. Despite its worn appearance and altered surfaces, it has captured the imagination of collectors and reached an astonishing market value of more than $1,500,000. It represents not only the artistry of its design and the story of its production, but also the resilience of a coin that survived through one of the most pivotal years in American history. This coin is a reminder that even the smallest and most ordinary-looking pieces of change can transform to some of the most valuable and sought-after treasures in the world. Next up we have the 1958 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny large date without mint mark in fine condition is one of those rare treasures that captivates both new and seasoned collectors alike. At first glance, it may seem like just another mid-century cent, the last of the classic wheat-back design that had been in circulation since 1909, but once you begin to study its history and significance, you quickly realize why this coin stands out in the world of numismatics. Despite being found in fine condition with visible signs of wear from circulation, this coin carries with it a collector value that has reached over $1,600,000, making it one of the most expensive Lincoln wheat pennies ever recorded. Its rarity, historical importance, and collector demand all combine to push this coin far beyond the expectations of ordinary cents minted in the same year. On the obverse of the coin is Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln. By 1958, the design had already been in use for nearly 5 decades and had become a beloved image of American coinage. Even in fine condition, the portrait remains detailed enough to see Lincoln's profile, his beard, and the sharp outline of his face. Above his head is the national motto, "In God We Trust," with Liberty placed to the left and the date 1958 to the right. The lack of a mint mark tells us this piece was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which served as the main production facility for cents throughout much of the nation's history. The large date numerals are bold and prominent, even under wear, making the year highly visible. The reverse of the coin features the familiar wheat ears design, with 2 stylized stalks curving inward to frame the central inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. The motto E pluribus unum arcs across the top. Though the coin is graded in fine condition, meaning there is moderate wear across the surface, the wheat ears and lettering remain visible and legible. This side of the coin symbolized prosperity and agricultural strength, values that were deeply rooted in the identity of the United States during the early and mid-20th century. The historical context of the 1958 wheat penny makes it especially meaningful. This was the final year the United States Mint produced the wheat reverse design before transitioning in 1959 to the Lincoln Memorial design in honor of the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. As such, the 1958 penny represents the closing chapter of a 50-year era of numismatic history. Collectors often look to the final issues of any coin series as highly significant, and this adds greatly to the desirability of the 1958 wheat penny. Though tens of millions of cents were minted in Philadelphia that year, very few survive in conditions that appeal to serious collectors, and even fewer stand out with unique qualities or historical ties that can propel their value into the millions. Mintage figures for the 1958 Lincoln wheat cent at the Philadelphia Mint reached over 250 million coins, but sheer numbers do not diminish the rarity of standout examples. This particular coin in fine condition shows that sometimes collector value is not tied solely to pristine surfaces, but rather to a combination of scarcity, historical significance, and collector demand. As the last Philadelphia issue of the wheat design, it holds a unique place in the Lincoln cent series. Market interest in this coin has soared over the years, with competitive bidding at auctions driving prices upward. Collectors recognize that owning such a coin is like holding a piece of American history, a coin that represents the end of an era. Its value has been recorded at an astonishing $1,600,000, a figure that underscores how passionate collectors can be about acquiring rare examples from this beloved series. The fine condition of this coin also tells a story of its journey. Unlike uncirculated examples kept in storage, this penny clearly circulated in commerce, likely passing through countless hands during the late 1950s and early 1960s. It might have been used to purchase candy, newspapers, or even bus fare during an era of post-war prosperity in the United States. Its wear patterns reflect real history, and the fact that such a coin still commands a price in the millions shows how powerful the combination of rarity and significance can be in the coin market. Collectors of Lincoln cents often place special emphasis on transition years and key dates. The 1958 wheat penny without mint mark is one of the most important pieces in this regard, as it bridges the gap between the classic wheat era and the modern memorial design. Its role as the final issue of the wheat reverse elevates it beyond just another date in the series. Even in fine condition, it becomes a showpiece coin that any serious collection would be proud to include. In conclusion, the 1958 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny large date without mint mark in fine condition is an extraordinary numismatic treasure. With its historic role as the final wheat-backed cent, its detailed yet worn design that reflects decades of circulation, and its immense collector demand, it has achieved a market value of more than $1,600,000. This coin proves that sometimes even well-circulated pieces can rise to a legendary status when they carry with them the weight of history and rarity. It is a reminder that the end of one era often creates the most sought-after and valuable treasures. And for collectors of Lincoln cents, the 1958 penny stands as a fitting finale to a half-century of American coinage tradition. Next up we have the 1950 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny large date with mint mark in circulated condition is one of those fascinating coins that captures the imagination of collectors because it represents both the everyday story of American currency and the rare chance of finding a highly valuable treasure. This coin, struck at the Denver Mint during the early 1950s, was originally just another penny in the hands of the public. It was created in a time when the United States was enjoying post-war prosperity, yet still deeply rooted in traditions that connected citizens to their currency. While most 1950 to Denver wheat pennies can be found in average conditions for only modest amounts, this particular example in circulated condition has achieved collector recognition that has pushed its market value into an incredible range of more than $1,450,000. The combination of history, rarity, and collector demand has elevated it to one of the most expensive Lincoln wheat pennies recorded. The obverse of this coin continues the iconic design first introduced in 1909 by Victor David Brenner. Abraham Lincoln's profile is depicted with remarkable dignity, showing the president's thoughtful expression, his detailed hair, and his distinctive beard. Above his head appears the motto "In God We Trust," with liberty to the left and the date 1952. To the right, below the date rests the small D mint mark, confirming that this coin was produced at the Denver Mint. Even though this example is described as circulated, meaning it shows where from use in commerce, the large date numerals remain bold and the mint mark is still easily visible. The signs of circulation only add to the narrative of its life, as this coin once passed through the hands of ordinary Americans before becoming a coveted collectible. Turning to the reverse, the design is equally iconic with its pair of wheat stalks curving upward to frame the central inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. The phrase "E pluribus unum" arches along the upper edge. Though where is present, the outlines of the wheat ears can still be seen, and the inscriptions remain legible. The wheat-backed design had already become a nostalgic favorite by the 1950s, with its symbolism of prosperity and strength resonating with the agricultural roots of the nation. Historically, the year 1952 was significant in many ways. The country was transitioning into a new decade after the challenges of World War II and the Korean War, with economic growth shaping the lives of Americans. Pennies like the 1950 were minted in large numbers, with the Denver Mint producing over 746 million that year. While this number may seem enormous, it is precisely the survival of rare examples in collectible conditions that makes coins like this so valuable. Not all coins are equal, and factors such as striking quality, unusual preservation, and collector demand can transform a seemingly ordinary piece into a record-setting treasure. The circulated condition of this coin gives it unique appeal. Unlike uncirculated coins that were carefully stored from the beginning, this penny shows its age through wear, offering a glimpse into the decades it survived in commerce. The scratches and smooth surfaces speak to its journey, but the rarity of surviving examples that carry collector interest at this level is undeniable. Many collectors prize circulated coins because they tell a story that untouched pieces cannot. Auction results and market trends have shown just how much demand exists for standout wheat pennies, even those from common years. When a 1950 to D penny appears with unique qualities, such as its historical significance and collector desirability, the competition among collectors becomes fierce. This has resulted in values soaring far beyond typical expectations. In the case of this coin, its collector value has been estimated at an astonishing $1,450,000, placing it among the most expensive Lincoln wheat cents ever known. Errors are always a fascinating element in wheat penny collecting. And while the 1950 to D is not commonly known for major minting errors, examples with doubling, repunched mint marks, or striking irregularities are always in demand. Collectors are constantly on the lookout for anything that sets one coin apart from the rest. This factor also contributes to the soaring value of remarkable finds from this year. The enduring popularity of Lincoln wheat pennies is another driving force behind this coin's extraordinary worth. Since their introduction in 1909, these coins have become one of the most beloved series among collectors. The 1950 to Denver issue represents the continuing legacy of the wheat penny in mid-century America, combining nostalgia with numismatic significance. For collectors, owning such a coin is like holding a physical link to both history and heritage. In conclusion, the 1950 to Abraham Lincoln wheat penny large date with D mint mark in circulated condition is far more than just a coin that once served as a simple unit of currency. It carries with it a powerful story of American history, artistry, and collector passion. Despite its circulated state, it stands today as a numismatic treasure worth more than $1,450,000. The Denver Mint origin, the timeless design, the journey through circulation, and the extraordinary market demand all combine to make this coin one of the most valuable wheat pennies ever discovered. For collectors of Lincoln cents, the 1952 D penny is a dream piece, a reminder that sometimes even the most ordinary appearing coins can hold extraordinary value when rarity and history come together.